Here's a look at those Reds that Jose Berríos requested this team wear tonight against the Cubs. A sartorial shakeup, gentlemen, as we get set to see a Monday night special featuring the Blue Jays and the Cubs. So here's the matchup. Berríos was terrific on that road trip. Toronto won both of his starts in New York and in Boston. Now, Javier Assad is going for the Cubs. He made his major league debut last Tuesday, pitched 4 innings against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals didn't get a run in the 4 innings in which he pitched. And this, Joe, says trouble to me, okay? Because we've seen the Blue Jays go up against quote-unquote no-name pitchers before and struggle mightily if that pitcher doesn't have some kind of a major league resume.
Well, I think a major league pitcher, Jamie, is capable of executing pitches, and to me it's about execution. So whether it's Garrett Cole on the mound or Ohtani or Cal Quantrill or Bieber or Nestor Cortez, some of the better pitchers the Blue Jays have faced, when they execute, life is difficult. But you get a kid making his second start in his career, he may execute his pitches too. And oh, by the way, guess what he throws? He's got a fastball, 93, 94, and he's got a cutter that he throws away to right-handers. So if he executes those pitches, that will make life difficult on this Blue Jays right-handed hitting lineup. We've seen it time and time again. Quantrill used the fastball up in the zone and in. We saw Nestor Cortez from the left side. We saw a couple lefties this weekend. So it's the simple fact that other teams will spin the baseball against this team, but they will also use the fastball enough to make life difficult. So whether it's a righty or a lefty, if they execute, and if this kid executes his pitches, this team can be pitched to. We've seen it time and again.
Yeah, and that's where coming into it, when you're facing the guy for the first time, it can be a little bit difficult, and you're trying to figure out, well, am I going to stick to my strengths, or am I going to try and look for what he does? And you have all the video, you have all the stats, you've watched the ABs, but you haven't stood up there in the box against this guy, and so it might look a little bit different. Do you go to strengths? I always like to just look for my strength. If my strength was middle in, looking for the fastball, I did that until he forced me to do something different. What I see is just, it seems like the in-between approach. Sometimes they look for their strength, and then sometimes they'll flip and try and adjust to what he's doing. I don't think either one is wrong. What I think is when you're trying to adjust and you constantly keep adjusting, you're in between. So figure out one way, either stick to what he's doing, or stick to what you're doing well and stick with it. And I like the Blue Jays' chances if they do that.
And over the course of the weekend, it seemed as though we were seeing a lot of that, getting caught in between, looking fastball, swinging at the slider, looking slider, swinging at the fastball. Commit to your game plan, but don't be in between.
He's wearing number 72, fellas. He looks like the 8th inning pitcher in a spring training game.
Those are pretty good sometimes.
Oh, yes, they can be. All right, so George Springer leading things off, riding a 12-game hit streak thanks to that home run in the 9th. And you'll note Teoscar Hernandez not playing today. You will see Raimel Tapia playing in right field for the Blue Jays up against the Cubs. Time to hear from Emily Agard at SN Bets.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm here at the SN Bets Big Board presented by Bet365. So the Blue Jays kind of unexpectedly turned back the clock to 2013 this past weekend. And if that year sounds familiar, well, it's because that was the last time the Angels swept Toronto at home. Let's bring in baseball analyst Drew Martin from Wager Talk. He's in Fort Lauderdale. Drew, are the Chicago Cubs the antidote for Toronto's recent hitting woes?
You know, Emily, I think they can be. Starting off with the Cubs side of things, offensively, they are as cold as it gets. Actually, the Cubs just scoring 2 or fewer runs in all but 2 of their last 9 games, just averaging 2.4 runs in the process. So they're ranking number 30 in all of MLB by weighted runs created plus, meaning they're 49% below MLB average, posting a 51 WRC plus number. That does rank 30. There's only 30 MLB teams, so they are dead last. Talking about the Cubs offense the last week. They're also going with a rookie starter tonight, Emily, Javier Assad. He's a 25-year-old from Tijuana, Mexico. He made his way up through the Mexican Pacific League, also in the Cubs organization, mostly double and triple A. He's being called up here from AAA Iowa. He made his first start last week against the Cardinals, going 4 innings, shutting them out, 0 earned runs through those 4 innings. And something I like to do, Emily, because it can be a tricky handicap, how will these young guns do in the show? He did average more than a strikeout per inning in the minors with a 1.03 whip, so only 1 runner on base per inning pretty much, which I actually think projects well for his future in Major League Baseball. However, he is going up against the Blue Jays lineup over the course of the year, one of the better lineups in baseball, although the last week, the Blue Jays have been colder as well. The Jays going with Berrios up on the hill over the course of the year, over a 5 ERA for the Blue Jays starter. However, his last 2 timeouts, 12.2 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 15-2 strikeout to walk ratio. So both of these pitchers, I think, actually project well tonight. Both lineups kind of on the colder end. We've seen the total go from 9.5 down to 9 flat. I agree with the move. I think we see a lower scoring game tonight in Rogers Center, Emily.
Drew Martin, thank you so much for diving into those numbers for us. This could be a bounce-back game for Jose Berrios and the Blue Jays, every game being an opportunity. Jamie, back to you.
Emily, thank you. Here's the lineup for the Cubs, presented by Bet365. Their number 2 hitter, catcher Wilson Contreras, enjoying his 4th 20 home run plus season. And they picked up Franmil Reyes from Cleveland on August 9th. Since joining the club, he's got an .824 OPS, 3 home runs, so he's been a nice fit for Chicago. They're here for 3. And Contreras is going to handle the young man on the mound as Jose Berrios goes for the Blue Jays, and Danny Jansen will call the balls and strikes for him. Let's see how this one goes down. Should be interesting. Stay with us on Blue Jays Central.